Hello and welcome to the podcast for Alt Youth magazine, where we'll be talking about the latest PS4 press event that was announced that we would be getting the PlayStation 4. I'm here with...
It's Chris Flockhart, hello.
David Marshall.
Paton
and Dean Walsh.
These are all residential people from the magazine that know a little bit about gaming, at least.
Or claim to.
Yeah. First off, we'll kick off with, what did you make of the event, Glenn?
It was long-winded, and some of the speakers failed to impress, but the actual details they gave about, that Sony gave out, and some of the first-party companies provided really good knowledge of what we're going to see later in the year. It was missing some key events, but it could have been worse, and it entertained as much as it was quite long-winded and went on for 2 hours, I think.
I felt that it had something at least to say, like, they showed us the joystick at least.
No, I was looking on websites like every minute trying to see if they'd released the console yet. I kept looking for that, but no, it was just the joystick. What did you think of the new design for the joystick?
I didn't like it.
I didn't really like it at first either.
No.
Why not?
Clunky.
It was kind of it just didn't look. It just kind of looked like another Xbox 360 controller. I didn't really like the design of it, but then I sort of like looked into it a bit more because I read what they said about the detail and stuff, about the touchpad, the improved L2 and R2 triggers and stuff like that, and the improvements are good, but I don't think it looks aesthetically pleasing anymore.
It's implemented to evolve with what PS4 has become. The addition of like the share button to directly upload screenshots, gameplays, or that is a lot of what the PlayStation 4 seems to be aiming to do. Very socially minded instead of
they seem to be using a lot more kind of interaction rather than advanced gameplay and things like that in that kind of sense. But there's definitely more interaction, more sharing, more social media. That's the kind of way forward for it.
I just didn't think it looked like what we've been given so far as a PlayStation controller. I just didn't think it was for the PlayStation. It reminded me of like in the late 90s when you used to get like the cheapy, crappy like wee handheld consoles that you could get out of Woolworths for 99p that were designed like a PlayStation controller. That's what it reminded me of.
Just like the horrible third-party controllers everyone ends up with.
I mean,
with the turbo boost and all that.
Is this definitely the final design for them for it?
Actually, I heard that they wouldn't have put in the...
They wouldn't have shown us it if it wasn't the final design.
They might change it a little, but I don't think much more than they would.
What do you think about them trying to move the PS Vita into becoming a peripheral for using the game, the actual console?
It's basically to what the Wii U does.
Is it a cash-in?
It's pretty much just what the Wii U is.
Except you pay for the... They're really, really hungry for people to buy the PS Vita.
Yeah.
That was almost the overarching like theme of that conference.
I mean, I had the PlayStation Portable, which, I mean, it was okay, but the games themselves weren't really that good. I had like 2 different versions of Need for Speed Most Wanted on the PS2 and PSP, and they were both 2 completely different games, and I think PSP just kind of downgraded the games, and after that I just thought I'll just stick to PS3. I'm not going to bother with PS Vita or anything.
Personally, I've got like no intentions or interest portable gaming with Sony. I mean,
somebody explain to me how that works. With you're playing it on your console, and then you can play it on the.
You can take it away with you,
right?
But as well as
obviously
that,
it's like having a
the
LAN
quality
network.
will be different. No.
We always
no, but that's what they're saying. They're using Gaikai, which is a streaming software company which stream through your Wi-Fi onto anything like your iPhone, but as well as your PS Vita. So you can take the game that you were playing just on your PS4 and then walk away with it on your handheld.
Like the advert with Kevin Bacon when he's walking about with his phone, and he comes in from walking about and playing games with Danny Dyer, and then he's got it on his telly straight away.
Yeah.
Do you know what it reminds me of? The Sega Dreamcast. Denny's remember the wee like, well, basically it was a memory card that with certain games you could take the memory card out and you had like wee mini games.
There was a Geopet in it. I remember there was one where you could get a Sonic sort of what were those little things that you used to get?
Oh, chows.
You know how like, the wee
Aye, the wee
handheld
daft
things.
animal
Aye,
things, aye.
you could carry that about with you. Yeah, you could have Sonic on the go with you whenever you went. But I mean, this is obviously a lot more advanced, and
Yeah.
you can play a game.
So, are Sega going to be claiming some royalties or something from Sony now?
The point is, the Vita's struggling compared to the 3DS,
It's a
and
kind of
they want to buy that as well.
Yeah.
iPads do better portable gaming than Vita.
Yeah.
Tablets and phones are above.
I think
most.
Sony stung a lot of people when they first brought out like the original PSP. I mean,
I love the original PSP, but I think
I
it's
had
because of
nothing on it.
specific games. See, I put into over 500 hours into one game,
Yeah.
so like.
I think what Sony try to do, which is always a mistake that gaming companies do, they always try and they look at the things outside the actual gaming and they put more concentration into that in the actual games. I mean, really, when Sony brought this out, it was just for them. The PSP originally, it was just to push UMDs and to like films and streaming for stuff like that, and they didn't put enough time into gaming. I think that a lot of gamers going, if I'm going to go for portable, I'm just going to use Nintendo.
I kind of feel that way. That's the kind of direction they're going with PS4 as well, because you hear a lot about the new features with the social interaction, the video clipping, stuff like that. But you don't really hear much about have the quality of graphics improved, has the gameplay improved.
They did say the specs at the start, but they didn't go much into
They didn't
it.
show us anything.
Is there any other competition just now towards the new console? I mean,
Xbox might be releasing.
Yeah, soon.
Xbox
They'll
are bringing out
announce something
something, aren't
soon. They'll probably announce something soon.
That'll be an E3.
But
do you you think that'll be better just because it's Microsoft?
I think the PS4, sorry, is going to be really powerful. I think the PS3, if I'm right in thinking, had 500 megs of RAM. This one has 8 gigs, and it's got a fully fledged PC CPU, which has been enhanced. It's going to be really strong.
Well, that was the thing about the whole press conference, was that they were constantly always reminding developers that this is made for them. It seemed almost as if they were making the console for developers rather than the consumer.
Actually, that's not a bad thing, because if it's built for the developers can
be good for
build
the
better
consumer.
games, and that's better for the consumer.
Yeah.
Well, when you think about how many consoles are actually built for gamer these days, I mean, the Wii and the Wii U wasn't built for gamers.
No.
No, not at all.
So maybe this is just Sony following the trend that Nintendo set.
No, I think Sony obviously they're not going to go as casual as Nintendo, because Nintendo's for
It's
families
kids,
and kids now, basically. They have to stay. Well, you just see from the games they actually did show, stuff like Killzone and Infamous. They're not kids' games.
Do you think that you will be buying it when it comes out?
Absolutely not.
I think I will. I've always stuck to PlayStations. Never really cared much for Xbox, but I don't know. I kind of want the idea of just saying I've had all 4 PlayStations.
I'll tell you, I'll buy it if it's a cheaper option.
It won't be.
No.
You
I
know
don't-
it won't be.
That's why I say I'm not going to buy it.
I've had every console since the SNES, so I'll buy day one.
But you could still see them selling a lot.
Oh,
this
they will.
Christmas.
Oh, yeah,
They have
Like
such a
Christmas
loyal
will-
fan base.
Will be, a lot of people will be,
Yeah.
kids will be, asking them.
Yeah, it's holiday.
It's a
Yeah,
generation
Yeah.
thing, I suppose, isn't it?
I think one of the most important things that we should probably talk about is the games they actually did show. If any of them actually took your fancy, because
Yeah. Diablo 3 took my fancy. I played it on the PC, but I didn't give it that much time because it was a PC game, and with it being on a console, I was really surprised that they never released it on a console. I think it was meant to be coming out on the PS3, but it never happened. But now that it's coming out on PS4 and they've actually came to their press conference and said, yeah, it's definitely happening, I probably would expect that to be a launch day title. I don't know if it will be, but I expect it to be, and I would love to play it when it first comes out. As well as that, I'm not really interested in Bungie's title. For all they made all the Halo games, I'm not really caring about this new game that's coming out. I'll probably rent it. I'll not buy it.
I think it's going to be very similar to Halo. It looks quite similar to Halo.
What else in the press conference interested you in?
Nothing.
Nothing really. That was just the most surprising part of it.
I'll give the-
What was your expectations for it?
I
I
wanted
would
to see a
the console
console.
at the very least.
Right, okay.
I think there's an issue with the whole. I have a sort of issue with the being able to capture the screen and sort of thing, because obviously the reason people are going to be doing that is if they say someone's on Call of Duty playing live and they get like a headshot or something, like sniper headshot or something like that, and they want to boast that to their friends. But the problem I see is you'll have to be hitting that record button the entire way through that game,
Call of
because-
Duty.
Again, because you can't expect you to say, okay, I'm going to get a headshot, so let's record now.
Yeah.
Then you go for about 20 takes before you get a headshot, clip it, and
That's
intro
true.
it. And
That was what they were saying about the conference as well, is they wanted to take less things away that interrupted the gamer from the game. Whereas this seems like the
They've just added
most
it in.
the most used thing that's going to be
Yeah.
used to
Because
interrupt the
people
game.
will be wanting to go into a certain position to look good. You have people that they'll be hiding around corners and things. Well, people won't be playing like that anymore. They'll be like, I need to get out there and I need to try and.
Well, obviously there's theatre modes in certain games, and some of them do them quite poorly. Like Modern Warfare's 3's one slows down gameplay. I feel like it adds lag to the game. Whilst you have like Halo on the Xbox, which doesn't. The theatre
Do
mode
you
just
think that
doesn't-
could be a concern for this new PS4?
I don't think so. I think it's too powerful to let
Right,
that
okay,
actually
yeah.
slow it down.
No, that's what I'm thinking, because it's not in the game, it would be actually in the
On the
hardware.
console, yeah.
So the hardware's not going to interrupt
Yeah.
what's happening in the game.
I think they mostly introduced this whole recording idea for Let's Players, people who record their footage on it and post it on YouTube, just so they can. I think it's a sort of legal.
It deletes
They can
third party
administrate it, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
they
They can. Yeah.
software.
Exactly. So
because a lot of people use third party software to usually record the stuff that
yeah,
they're doing on
it's
the
usually, it costs a
And
fortune
it-
with splitters, dazzles, computers.
It
and
takes
stuff
it
like
away,
that, so
and it makes it so
does.
much more easier.
So do you think they'll? I assume for the free they'll limit the amount you can record at one time, so you can't record like an entire playthrough or
And
something.
then they'll make you pay.
PlayStation Plus, I think, will come back for the PlayStation 4, and that'll be if you want to record so much time, you'll have to pay for it per month or whatever. I think one of the more important things they focus on is, and it was one of the PS3's great weaknesses, is updates and downloads have been hugely, or at least they say.
Would you mind explaining that for people who know nothing about
Yes,
that?
let me go in, please.
Well, everyone's complaint with the PlayStation 4 is every time you turn it on, a game will install a few updates, usually. And they're slow. The system updates are slow and take time compared to the Xboxes, which are relatively pretty swift and easy, over and done with. Whilst the PlayStation 4 is moving towards background, so it'll be again. They were looking for stops interrupting the game. It just lets you keep playing and you ignore it. To the point where, like downloads, you can download a small fraction of a game, and then whilst you're playing it, it downloads the rest of the game, which is good because if say you buy an actual full game, that's a huge number of gigs, and British download speeds aren't quick, so it'll take quite a few hours to download. But if you can just start playing it at that point, it should be fine, as long as I assume you don't play too fast and just catch up to how much is downloaded, which could be infuriating.
Another thing that was also announced was the prediction aspect of what they're going to include in the online, and that's where if you buy a game, a certain series of games, they're going to predict that you're going to buy such and such game, so they already download it onto your console for you, and then it's sitting there ready for you to go, although you've not even spent the money on it.
I don't like that.
No,
It depends on how big they put the hard drive in, but I can imagine it'll be a
it's
pretty
just going to eat up my internet.
That suggests to me that, for example, say, and however long this console lasts, in 2015, if I buy FIFA 15, that the console then is going to download FIFA 14, FIFA whatever, PES 14. I don't want to play these games.
Yeah.
I've got that one.
Yeah,
They'll probably make a.
There needs to be like some kind of filter or something.
We'll put an option to turn it off, but it'll be like go to network settings, then system updates, then system internet mega updates. So
Well
all
hidden
these
away.
different.
It'll be well hidden.
yeah.
One of
Then
the
it's like, sorry, you have to update your you have to update your PS4 before you can install this.
it'll put up a fight.
What predictions are we looking for then with the Xbox? The next Xbox that's going to be coming. We don't know what it's going to hold for us, but it's going to be released, revealed in E3, hopefully.
It, like the PlayStation, because the PlayStation announced, and it was kind of like glossed over, was that Kinect looking thing that they're putting onto it that receives a signal from the controller, and it's basically an iToy as well. It's all those kind of things. Those are going to be huge. Those are one of the biggest things about, because the Kinect kind of flopped because its hardware didn't match up and it didn't have any games.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it had crappy games.
Yeah.
Like,
It was a good idea.
field goal challenge and
They went
What's a
for
good
it.
idea? I remember when my friend got it and he was really excited. He was like, I've got Connect, you need to come over, we'll play it. We played it and 10 minutes later were lying on the couch absolutely exhausted, and we're going to say to ourselves, this isn't what I really planned on doing tonight.
Like, probably the worst game I saw for the Kinect was Dragon Ball Z Kinect. It was honestly so terrible. Like, you don't even do any of the moves. You literally stand in front of the TV, flail your arms around, and then maybe bring your arms back if you're doing a Kamehameha. Don't even get you shout Kamehameha, which I was disappointed in.
But you shouted anyway.
Yeah, I shouted anyway.
I did just repeatedly shout Hadouken over and over again. I don't care what game I'm playing.
I didn't even get to play my Kinect I got for Christmas one year, and I have a decent sized living room, but of course, camera. I'm 6'5". The camera goes, "Now you need to keep going back." I'm at my back wall. There's no further back.
We had to put his couch into his hallway. Now it's not exactly ideal every night, is it? You know, so
if that
so we're looking for an updated version of Kinect, basically.
For both.
They should create the Animus from Assassin's Creed. That'll solve all the problems.
VR.
Just have everything in our minds.
VR is not next gen, it's the gen after that. Virtual reality will be everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Nintendo brought out the Virtual Boy in 1994.
Well, I don't know if how you leave it at that.
So at that, we're going to leave it with virtual reality is the future. Who would have thought?
Nintendo done it first.
Nintendo do what?
Oh no, I'm not going to. As a Sega fanboy, I'm not going to step that far.
Sega do what Nintendo don't.
Aye, well,
Except
Genesis
Sega
does
do
what
not
Sega
a lot anymore.
Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
And on that bombshell, we will leave it here.
Sega wins.
Thank you very much for listening, and have a good day.